Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to start making different impact effects depending on whatever our bullets interact with. So as it stands right now, if I were to open up our weapon base and disable this line trace from drawing, you can see that our weapons shoot, but without the line trace, they don't actually look like they're going anywhere. So we're going to create different decals and sounds and effects to fire off depending on whatever we hit with our line traces to give it some, actually look like it's hitting something essentially, right? So in order to achieve this, let's go into settings in the project settings. And we're going to scroll down to physics right here, which is underneath engine. You'll see we have all these physical surface options, okay? And we are going to create quite a few of these physical surface options here to then be slotted in so that we can do different stuff with them. So even though we don't have our enemy created yet, we are going to slot these in right now. So we'll make one called head, chest, arm, let's do hand, leg, and foot. All right, and then let's make another one called stone. Now, all of these body parts, since we're lacking in the FX department, they're all going to be like make a metal sound and a metal spark-like effect to them, and then the stone is going to be like well, like rocks breaking off and sounding like that, essentially. So that's all we need for that. Let's go back into our FPS game and create a new folder. And, oh, actually, we already have a materials folder. So we're going to create physical materials, and we'll just keep them all in the materials folder. So let's right-click and go underneath, where is it? Materials. We're going to create a physical material. Which is, I am blind. Why is it not in here? Is it under, oh, it's probably under physics. Physical material, okay. Click on physical material, and then let's call this, body head. I believe that's what I had, or you know what, let's call it, wait, body head, that doesn't even make any sense. Let's call it enemy head. All right, and then let's just duplicate this and call it enemy chest, enemy arm, enemy hand, enemy leg, and enemy foot, and then stone. Okay, and let's save these. Like that. Let's open up any one of them. And so what you will see is we have a destructible damage threshold scale. We are going to use this when it comes to our enemies, and this is actually going to control like our calculation. That's going to allow the head to do more damage than the chest, and the chest to do more damage than the arms and the legs, and so on and so forth. But for the time being, we just want to slot in our physical properties. So under surface type, so we created all these different, these are the things we created in the project settings. Let's just go ahead and slot all of these into the appropriate one. So leg will set to be leg. Head will be head. And this just lets the game assign a sort of physical material to the different physical names that we gave. So what we can do later is we can take an object and we can give it a physical material. I don't think these even have one, the geometry, but the cube should have one. If I give the cube physical material override, and so we have our physical materials here. So we can say like this is of this material, and then we can run off different events. So I set foot, then we have chest, and then we have, is this arm? Arm, yeah. All right, so now those are all slotted in, so now we can start creating different events based off of whatever it is that we're hitting, okay? So let's go ahead and create a new folder. We will actually create a new folder this time, and we'll call it effects. And let's create a blueprint class of type actor and call this impact effect base. All right. So let's click this open. And in impact effect base, we just want to create a bunch of different variables. So let's get one called hit result, and we'll make this of a type hit result. And what we want to do with this hit result is we want to make this instance editable, which makes it this I. Means that this variable is now public and can be accessed and looked at by other blueprints, and we can kind of change it on the fly, so to speak. And then we also want to expose on spawn. So should this variable be exposed as a pin when spawning this blueprint? We want to say yes. And so what that's going to do is it's going to expose it as a pin. So you're going to get like, when you spawn this blueprint, it's going to give you an option. This variable is going to become a pin, similar to how it is right here in the line trace. It's kind of like returning a value. At least it'll show up looking similar to that. Right now we want to make different effects. So let's make one called stone FX, and we'll make this of type particle system. An object reference, I believe, is what we want. Yeah, okay. We want to have stone, and then we want to have body. We can call it enemy, body, whatever you want to call it. And then the other thing that we want to create is a stone SFX, and this is going to be of type sound cue, object again, and then we want to make this for the body as well. All right. And then we'll make one called impact decal, and this will be of type, not decal, is it of, it's just, oh, it's probably just a material. So let's go of type material, object reference, like that. Okay. Then what we want is decal size. It's going to be of a type float. Decal lifespan, also going to be float. And then last but not least, we want decal rotation. This is going to be of a rotator. All right, those are going to be all of our variables in here. So this is a hit result that we're going to, so it's going to essentially, it's going to ask us a place to spawn this impact effect, and we're just going to use this hit result variable to link it up with the hit result. That's why we're returning the hit result of the line trace, is so that we can link it up with where we want our impact effect to spawn. Still a reason that exists. These will slot in our different effects and our different sounds. We'll have a decal for like a bullet hole that we want to show up, and then we can, I made these variables so that we can customize the size, how long it lasts before it disappears, and kind of randomize its rotation depending on whichever weapon we're using, because we want the pistol to create a smaller bullet hole than the rocket launcher, so to speak. Okay, so that's all we have to do from the viewport. Let's go into the event graph, and we're going to do everything off of event begin play, and sometimes it doesn't let you delete things, so you just kind of got to delete it and start over. All right, so let's make a sequence here, and we're going to add quite a few pins. That many, that's 4. All right, and then out of here, what we want to do is let's grab our hit result, and we want to break the hit result. So when you break a hit result, you get all these different options. What we're going to be looking for here is an impact point. So it's a vector location of the point that the line trace hit an object. And we want to get a physical material. We want the game to be able to see which physical material did this hit. All right. So we can keep this underneath. Out of blocking hit, let's make an if statement here, or branch. And when a blocking hit, true if there was a blocking hit, false otherwise. This is just sort of like a failsafe. So like if we shoot into the air and our line trace doesn't hit anything, the game will come back with an error because it'll say, you know, you're telling me to spawn some particle effect and some sound at the hit location, and I don't have a hit location. So if we have this blocking hit, it'll prevent that error from happening because it'll be like, okay, this will only run if we actually hit something, right? So if we hit something, we want to spawn an emitter at location. An emitter is a VFX effect. The location that we want that to spawn is the impact point of the hit result that we drew, once again, when we calculated the line trace. And then we want to get the physical material. You know, which emitter do we want to spawn? There's so many. Well, we can customize that based on the physical material. So out of physical material, let's get surface type like that. That's built in, physical surface type. And then we want to get a select node. And you can see now all of the different I got rid of it. All of these here. You already know what I'm going to say, don't you? All these different physical surfaces that we have here are now showing up in the select node, and we're going to return that. So now it gives us an option to slot in whatever we want, depending on whichever object that we hit. And that's why we created these as variables. So for body, let's put that in for head, chest, arm, hand, leg, and foot. And then for stone, let's make that stone, and then we can make stone the default as well. Close that down to make it more visually appealing, I suppose. And yeah, all right. So that's what we want. So we can say particle effects for different surface types, like that. All right, so we've got that. So now all we need to do is the same exact thing for the sound and the decal. All right, so we can copy paste most of this and drag that into here like that, sure. Give these a little bit of space. This will be sounds, sound effects. We want to keep everything the same. Instead, we want to do play sound at location. The location is going to be the impact point. You can feel free to change. Oh. Guess I have to do it again. Make another select, then it'll become a sound. There we go. And then just make sure that we have the stone and body sound effects pulled out. So head, chest, arm, hand, leg, foot, stone, default. Like that. Feel free to change the volume. You can make that into a variable if you want. I'm good with that how it is. For this third one, what we want to do is I'm going to randomize a rotation of the decal so it doesn't look exactly the same every single time. So we're going to want to grab the hit result in the broken hit results again. But then out of the normal here, which normal is if hit in world space for the object was swept. Impact normal for line test. So we're going to rotation from X vector. And we're going to, so we're getting a rotation and we're going to break the rotator. So now we have an X, Y, and Z. And then out, we're going to get a random float and range. like this. And let's make this go 360 degrees, so negative 180, and then positive 180, so we can go all the way around the circle. And then let's make a rotator. And then, yeah, this can plug into the X, the Y, and the Z we will keep the same. So we're just changing the X to make that go into a circle, so to speak. And then let's set that as the decal rotation. And then we can have that plug in like that. Can have this move up a little bit, maybe. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and we'll say randomizes decal rotation. So that's gonna give us some little randomization. So all of our decals don't look exactly the same. And then last but not least, so you can copy and paste this whole thing again. Put that into the branch. Gonna make it look a little bit cleaner. Gonna have to delete the select node. And then let's spawn decal attached. Like that. It's going to ask for a location still, so that's gonna be impact point. Like that. We can get rid of these. The decal is going to be the same every single time. But we still want to make sure that we are slotting that in as the, well, actually we might not need to anymore, but just for consistency's sake, or if we ever wanted to edit this further, let's just do it how we've been doing the other ones. Let's keep world position and not whatever that was set as. The rotation will be this variable, our decal rotation, the one that we made. Lifespan, remember we made a decal lifespan. Like that, and the default value let's set to be like 10, just by default, so that in case we forget, it doesn't just immediately disappear. And then for decal size, we set that as a variable 2. And then since this is a float, we're gonna make it a vector, X, Y, and Z, plug that in to the size. And so there we go. Now we have that. So there's all the script that we need. Oh, you know what? These two as well. We need to get those actually. So hit component will be attached to component, and hit bone name will be attached point name. That might give us errors if we didn't plug those in. It's a lot of wires in this one, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's all we need to do for our impact effect. Okay, now back in our weapon base, after we calculate this, we're gonna break this hit result. All right, and then before we start the recoil, we want to spawn an actor from class. The actor that we want to spawn is our impact effect base. Now remember, I made this hit result expose on spawn, so you're gonna see that pin show up when I slot this in. There it is. So the hit result is going to be this hit result. The spawn transform is going to be the impact. Let's split the struck pin and then do it like that. We don't need to worry about the rotation and the scale. Okay, so now we have that all in there. And you know what? I probably should make this into a variable, impact effect base, and then we'll make this of type impact effect base. Ooh. And a class reference, and then drag that in instead. All right. So now we'll have multiple impact effects that will be set by a variable, and then start recoil, all of that. So that's good. That works. Now, what we can do, since this is set to a variable, now if you go into any of our weapons, auto rifle, you should see a slot for impact effect. And I probably shouldn't name it base. That might get confusing. Impact effect. Like that. Compile, save. So now we have impact effects that we can slot in. So now if we go into our effects and we start making children, so I'll just show this as one. So auto rifle impact effect. If we click and open this up, you will see stone effects, body, and the different sounds, a decal size, a lifespan, and we don't have to mess with the rotation. So for stone, I think there is one just called stone. You can get a small, medium, or large. I'm just going to do medium. For body, there's one called metal medium. For stone, what was it called? Rock? Or it might have just been impact surface. Rifle impact surface. Like that. For the body, there might have been a metal. Oh, they're broken. Okay, impact bullet metal. So let's slot that in and we'll fix that. Oh my goodness, that's so many. So, wasn't there a bullet? Bullet metal. Oh my gosh, game. This is what I'm saying. It's just not a... We have impact body. Maybe we just use those. Yeah. That's kind of a nasty sound. So yeah, for body, let's do... Those ones probably aren't broken. Rifle impact body. There we go. Impact decal. This is something that we need to make. So let's go into shooter game, filters, and go click on material right here. So filters, material. Should see, is it in here? Impact decal, M impact decal. Let's drag that into our materials. So we have it, we open this up and it's gonna be a little bit busted, but it's okay, we fixed that. So this is gonna be called bullet hole 2. And this is gonna be, what's that called, bullet hole 2? Distortion is what this one's called. Distortion 1. Once we slot those in and apply, there we go. This should be fixed now, I believe. There we go. So now we have our impact decal. So I'll just call this M bullet hole or something, so that I know what it's called at least. Got M bullet hole. Let's make it size 10 for now. Lifespan of 8 seconds. I don't even know. Okay, so now if we demonstrate, or actually, auto rifle weapon needs to make sure we have auto rifle impact effect assigned to it. So now if we go to our weapon and we walk up here, you can see that we have our bullet holes showing up, and the little default was the stone. Right. Okay, but if I drag a cube out here and I just increase its size a little bit, and I say that this is enemy chest or something like that, we should get a different effect. So these, and then to get the sparks now, and you can kind of hear that fleshy sound. All right, so now we're having different impact effects. We go into the impact effect and I can make this decal like 50 or something. It makes these giant holes in the ground, which is like ridiculous. We can also give different things. We got long. I think that these ones that come with there's some pretty cool ones actually that come with the shooter game, but I think they're all kind of broken too. But like if I were to do something like explosion, explosion, just might have to render something really quick, but well, there we go. So now it's like exploding at that thing. So yeah, right, pretty cool. So that's how we do that. So the only other thing that we will have to do here, and I will do this as a little assignment, is go into the effects and create the child blueprint classes. So pistol, impact effect, all right? And then slot in your preferred decal size and lifespan and different effects that you want. You can make it all the same, or you can make it look crazy. And then all you have to do is go into the corresponding weapon. And then under the self, should see a place to put that impact effect in. Then if you compile and save, that will then work. Okay? And you can, if you'd like, you can screw around with different effects. You can go into the project settings and make new ones of these. All you'd have to do is create a new variable. Like, you'd have to slot it in, create a physical material for it, like I did at the beginning. Then you'd click on this, and then there should be a refresh node, and then you should have those extra ones that you created pop up without deleting this. And then you can create new variables, plug them in, do a whole bunch of cool stuff. But that is how you make like different impact effects based on whatever your line traces are hitting. So our weapon now looks a lot more professional. Looks like it's actually shooting and hitting something, and it's changing depending on whichever surface we're hitting. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative, and I'll see you in the next one.